Pod, aka People of Detroit. We wanna put people on. You know what I'm saying? We wanna get the world to know more about Detroit.
Well, what makes us different at the Pod is that we want to have real stories by real people and it displaying real triumphs. At the end of the day, in Detroit, one thing we know how to do is hustle harder. Hey, what up, doe? You already know what it is. It's me, your girl Dahlia, and you're rocking with the Pie, aka the People of Detroit. Today, we have in studio a creative director, a fashion designer, stylist, and just an overall tastemaker that has his fingers on the pulse of the city. We have the incomparable Marv Neal. So make sure y'all making some noise at home for Marv. Yes, yes.
Thank you for having me.
So, and shout out to Sir LA, our CEO, and my co-host, my love. Had to handle some business, and he's sending his what up does to you as well. I'm going to hold it down for you, boo. I'm going to hold it down for you. So, a question we like to ask all of our guests is, we want to know, what hood made you?
The Northend. I'm from the Northend, born and raised. Lived over there, you might as well say, all my life, even up until, well, not lived in my 30s, but my grandmother stayed over there until 2011. And then when she passed away, we moved, and then I've just been on the east side since. But born and raised on the North End, attended Northend High School.
Okay.
So middle of the city, you know, it's got a lot of rich history. A lot of people are from over there. A lot of people were born and raised over there and then moved to other spots and everything because it was the closest hood to the projects coming up back in the day. That and Black Bottom, so the North End and Black Bottom are like that whole, you know, the black pulse of the city. So you have a lot of different people that's from over there. My grandmother grew up with a lot of the Smokey Robinsons and the Diana Rosses and all of those kind of people. And North End born and bred.
All right. See, me, I just claim West Side because I'm one of those people that had a family that moved around a lot. So I'm just a true blue West Side.
Yeah.
You know,
well, we were all, everybody was on the North End or East.
Right.
So even when they moved, like even once we moved in 95, we moved East. And I'm still East.
Okay, well, shout out to the East Side.
Shout out to the East Side. Claim the East Side, too.
So when we speak of Granny, because that actually is a question that my partner wanted me to ask you specifically. Okay. He wanted to know about your memories at, I believe, 326 Hague.
So I was born in that house.
Okay.
And I stayed in that house at 326 Hague until I was 5. And then I moved across the street, directly across the street where I stayed from 5 to 15.
Okay.
So it's the house is still there. It's 326 Hague. It's on the corner. So it's like a side house, and then so it's the house is connected on like Hague is the corner, and then on Brush it's a house that's connected to it also. And then my grandmother's childhood friend grew up in the house next door, and she moved in there, and I was there till I was 5. It was just fond memories. A lot of older people were up and down the block, like that were like maybe I wouldn't say that much older, but maybe 10, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I was raised by a lot of the older, you know, hood kids. They used to call me Pooh. So yeah, I mean it's North End. It was 326 Hague. Only thing I could think of out of that house is like when my little cousin was born. I remember when they brought him home, his leg was already broke.
Oh, wow.
So my aunt and them had to go through a thing with that because they thought she had something to do with it, which she didn't. and it was a negligence with the hospital.
Oh, wow.
And then, so I remember that. I remember a young lady, when she's not young, she was older, lady that stayed across the street named El Tamise. She was the first lady I seen skate. And she could skate real good, so that's how I started skating.
Specific memory.
Yeah, and then my cousin came and spent the night with me. He may have been 10 years older than me because he's probably a couple of years under my mom, but he was flicking, he was, if I was 5, he was like 12, I would say 12 or 13, and he was like flicking a lighter, and he set some paper on fire and wound up setting, how the beds back in the day had that hay inside of the bed. He set the bed on fire. And me being a smart kid was trying to be like, oh, let me get the paper from up under the bed for the whole house catch on fire. And I called the fire people, and my mama whooped me real bad. And I was like, it wasn't me. And then once I got older, he was like, yeah, he telling the truth. It wasn't him. It was me. Wow. So, yeah, they always thought I did it. And I was like, it wasn't me. I kept always being like, it wasn't me, even as a kid. So that's what I remember at 326 Head.
That's crazy. And, you gave me a memory from when I was younger, right? My brother, shout out to my knucklehead older brother, Cal.
Okay.
When we were kids, I don't know what possessed him to do this. Extra goofy. So me and my 2 sisters, we're all in the room, we're chilling, and my brother was like running around chasing folks with lighters, being goofy. Yeah. And he kind of chased us back into the room. So we're all in there, and he's like stopped in front of the door like, hi, everybody's trapped. So he's sitting there laughing, flicking the lighter. Can of hairspray. Sitting right there. I don't know if it was like a chest, a speaker. I cannot recall what the structure was, but it's sitting here on the surface. He picks it up, and then I don't know why he did this. He sprayed it and seen a huge flame, and his face lit up, little evil heathen. And he was like, and we looked at each other because we knew what time it was. We're like, oh my God. And next thing you know, he straight torched us while we were under a cover. And we get up from under the cover. It's all crunchy and burnt up and stuff. I'm like, he really could have killed us. We talk about this to this day. Like, that was really goofy. And then I got up. I'm like, I'm telling, because I was the little snitch as a kid. I'm like, I'm telling. And they like, no, don't tell. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get some water. As soon as they cut me loose, mama.
Yeah, you wouldn't go tell.
Oh, I was telling. I was super telling. I'm like, you could have burnt us up.
That was a good question. I didn't know you would have went that far back to 26 Head. How y'all find that one out?
Look, you hear that? You hear that? Yeah, he said how you find that one out. So we actually like to call it our ghetto journalism. Hey, we like to provide quality interviews.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Now, when you speak of your grandmother, what I want to know is this. Now, was it your grandmother or your great-grandmother that was the seamstress at the cleaners?
Her mother was a seamstress at the cleaners. So her mother is actually born and raised from Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay.
And then half of the family was there, and then half the family moved to Toledo.
Okay.
And then so they will always come to Toledo back in the day. But my grandmother's father, when he got out of World War II or whatever was going on, or whatever war, because there was always something going on back then. He moved here to come work at the plant, like most people. So in the 40s, he moved here after he got out of the service to come work at Ford or Chrysler or GM.
Okay.
Where he was at until he, probably retired in the 60s, and then so. Where she's from. My great grandmother is the one that was the seamstress.
It almost seems like fashion and creativity is like in your bloodline.
It is.
Because and actually LA had told me this. This wasn't something I found. He told me that somewhere he saw that you were like sketching pictures of Jordans at like 8 years old.
Oh yeah, so my great grandmother was a seamstress. Mm-hmm. And my grandmother could sew by hands, who actually taught me how to sew by hand as probably like at 7.
Okay.
She just was like, you're not going to need, no woman to show you how to cook or clean or sew your sock up, so let me show you how to take care of yourself. But when I was probably like 8, Jordans was the first stream of, the first line of Jordans was prevalent. I can't remember if it was like the 6s or the 9s that was out around that time. But we would just draw them and then send them to, have the teacher send them to Nike for us. And, little kids, little coloring drawings. But yeah, that's where it started. Little stuff like that, where I
Now,
knew that fashion was more of what I paid attention to than anything else.
so what I want to know about is what was up with the Benz emblem you rocked as a kid?
Oh, I mean, when my mother was young, I mean, to be honest, I was like the prince in the hood because my mother and father were both like 15 and 14 when she had me.
Okay.
So of course, and this is 1980, so that's the beginning of the drug era and hip hop and the flashy.
Yeah.
So all of their friends that were getting a little money, that's the first thing they do is buy the little guy that's, their friend's son. Buy the little, buy me a Benz emblem. It was a guy that stayed a block over from us that bought that emblem for me.
Nice.
And I had it for a long time. I can't remember where it is now, but yeah, so he bought it. But they would always buy me like little jewelry and little gym shoes and stuff, because I was my mother's and her friend. Everybody was getting it a little bit in the '80s, so.
So it was like it was in the blood to be crispy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, 'cause, I mean, my mother, she dressed well. My grandmothers and great grandmothers, my aunts, they all dressed well. And then I can't really say that about my father, but his friends dressed well. I don't know what was going on with him. He was just like the muscle.
Okay,
I mean,
he's like, hey, I put in the work.
Yeah, he was more of a muscle, but yeah, the women most definitely they didn't play. They didn't play.
So now, correct me if I'm wrong. You had a stint at 2 different colleges.
No, just Wayne State.
Just Wayne State.
Yeah, I was supposed to go to Parsons School of Design in New York.
Okay.
But this was before Project Runway, so it was no scholarships or anything.
Okay.
And then, they wasn't giving out a scholarship for fashion design. So I was supposed to go to Parsons School of Design in New York. This is 1998. My grandmother was like, we don't have the money for you. You can't get no scholarship. So we don't want you to go to New York on your own because it's New York. But, just go to Wayne State and take what you can take. So I went to Wayne State for like 2.5 years.
Okay, because I did see that. I did see
like everybody else, and started working and was like, I don't want to go to school no more. So yeah. So yeah, Wayne State, but I was supposed to go to Parsons. That's probably it. And I went to WC3 here and there off and on, but that's the Detroit thing,
It is. We all try different things. I can't say that everybody I know in the city. I don't know many people that just do one thing and just stick to it. Everybody I've known, even if they took that college route and went and got a job, they still had their hand in different things.
You do a bunch of little things. You go to even if the people that went away to school, they was either cutting hair, doing hair, while I did nails while I was in school. That's how I paid for this. So it's really kind of like what people do.
Yeah, we definitely know how to hustle and survive in Detroit for sure.
That's for sure.
Now, what I want to ask you is regarding, as far as with you getting your first like peeks into designing, you were around, what, about 15, 14?
Yeah, like
in that
range? When that about to go to high school when hip hop kind of like was at its most golden age or pinnacle, where I knew that that's what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Like, I mean, as a kid, they would ask, when the teacher tell you raise your hand and tell what you want to be, and it was always something regarding like a fashion designer. But I just didn't, I didn't know. I knew by the time I got like 14, 15 that I wanted to be a stylist because I started seeing people's names in the credits for styling or wardrobe store. They have costume design or wardrobe styling. And that's like when you start seeing like the Misas and the Groovy Lou's and Sybil Phoenix and Dust the Dawn Agency. It was a couple of other names I would see in high school that was in there. And I was like, I want to do that. Because they not sitting behind the sewing machine. And if they are, it's custom. And, something that's, creative. And they making that's not where you go and buy it. So I knew it was just about learning how to do it, how to get to it.
Okay. I do have 2 things I want to discuss, but I want to discuss them in chronological order.
That's fine.
So I'm going to mention them, and then whichever one came first, that's what we'll talk about first.
Okay.
So 2 things that was interesting to me about you. One was you taking a job as security.
Okay.
And the other is designing for the hip-hop group.
Okay.
Which came first?
Which hip-hop group?
Was it
DMB?
Was it Jealous? Am Am I saying that right? Maybe it was DMB.
Well, so DMB was my cousins. They were the first group that I styled.
Okay.
But so security. Well, so DMB was the first group that I styled. It was my two cousins. Well, all three. It was their best friend that we adopted. He was our cousin too.
Okay.
But
we all got adopted
exactly,
family.
Yeah,
you know how it go.
And we don't even say they play. It's just by the time
it's
everybody merging
your family.
But he rest in peace to Drew. He got killed maybe like 10 years ago. On a fluke mistake kind of like thing.
Oh wow.
But they were rapping and they were gaining some momentum, and I've always had clothing, so they were kind of like, we want to come and basically we need to go in your closet to get something to wear. You know, your Prada gym shoes, your Pelly coats, like we need it. So it started from that, just me telling them what to wear, what they should wear, kind of like, you know, if you're going to wear gray, then you wear brown and you wear black. Like, you know, just kind of getting my first little kinks out of dressing them. And then that went on for maybe like a year or two. Then all of them started having kids, and that kind of stopped. But they kind of kept I started meeting, like I met like Timothy Paul through them, and like a lot of people that were starting their careers at the time. And then fast forward to the security question.
Yes.
So Detroit doesn't have showrooms. Showrooms are where all of the wardrobe stylists that are in LA or New York go, and you pull high-end clothing or one of one pieces for photo shoots or press junkets or whatever. We don't have that. So you have to be resourceful here in the city to either know designers, know people that can make you custom stuff or whatever. So I knew that if I did a magazine shoot, I can go to Neiman and Saks, they will let me pull, but I wanted to be in these stores on my own without getting a pull letter and just establishing my name. So what happened was, a gentleman has a security company. I was walking through the mall. I had just pulled for Ambassador magazine.
Okay.
And he was a friend or fan. I don't want to say a fan. He was a fan of my work.
Understood.
And he was kind of, we followed each other, had chatted a little bit just through DM, no different than like me and you or whatever.
Okay, right.
And he seen me walking through the mall and was like, Marv, but I'm a dude, so I was kind of looking like,
who are you?
Like, what up? And he was like, no, it's me. It's, such and such, man versus house. I love what you do. And he my brother now, but back then we was both kind of like looking at each other. Like, he was like, what you got up? I was like, nothing. Just pull some clothes. So he owned a company. He was like, well, I might have something for you. If you want to pick up another little job, I might have something for you on the weekends. Nice. I was like, okay, cool. 2 weeks went by. He called and was like, do you mind doing overnight for this jewelry job where they clean, they do all of this stuff? And I was like, yeah. So I took the security job to be able to get in the stores and build a relationship with these managers so that these managers will know exactly what I do.
And that's smart.
Yeah, that's that's what I did that just because we didn't have showrooms. So I felt like that'll be a way that they'll be able to know, well, he's serious about what he do. They know me and they know I do security. So he's not going to mess nothing up because he's security for the store.
Right.
So it was just that kind of thing. It was just more so funny to show them, like, come in, bring the magazines in, like, this is what I do. And they like, no, you don't. You know what I mean? Because I'm standing there like security mean. So once they start seeing and being like, oh, then they start being more so like,
you made them believe
you really, you know what I mean? You really for real. Like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. So.
I think that's dope, especially for anybody that is watching the interview now that is even remotely interested in styling. The fact that there wasn't a lane, so you created it, and I think that is the biggest takeaway from that. And when you're listening to Marv tell his story, folks, think about that. He invested in himself enough to become his own plug, by making relationships, building connections, and then he put himself on. So I commend you for that. That's really smart. And that's really showing that true Detroiter in you, for real. It is.
Yeah, and
that's some hustling.
It went from that to them actually, they knew they couldn't offer me an hourly job at Versace because I was at Versace a lot. So they offered me that's how I started doing personal shopping for them.
Nice.
So it was just a thing of basically like if you needed glasses or draw underwear, perfume or even clothes or shoes, I was able to get it for you, and you basically
The plug.
Yeah, basically. So, and my name is still in the books if I need to go back and get anything from them. But yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
that's from soon as I got that position, I did the Icewear Bezo video.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you about that too,
Yeah.
because you've definitely worked with a lot of artists. First of all, I got to shout out Mia, right? Hey, girl, Glamholic.
What
Yes,
up, bro?
yes. Glamholic Lifestyle. Yes,
Yeah.
indeed. Like, I've seen you do some work with that queen, Vezo.
Yeah.
What was it, Tony Braxton?
Tony Braxton.
Like,
That was my first big song.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Tony Braxton situation.
So Piper Carter, which is she's a world renowned
And she's a lovely woman.
yeah.
Shout out Piper.
Piper Piper had just moved back from New York, and Piper was working down at Kobo.
Okay.
So Piper had quick backstory. Piper is the first black woman to film for Italia Vogue, British Vogue, and she was on the Tyra Banks show, the photography, the equivalent to the photography for the like how the model show is. I can't think of the name of it. So she was on there, and so everybody from Detroit was rallying for Piper Carter. Like everybody knew who she was if you were somebody that knew. And then she moved back, and she was trying to get back into like all her filming and taking pictures and stuff. So she sent me this long email, and I'm like responding back like, Piper, I know who you are, like this, that, you know what I mean? She was like, oh, I just didn't want you to think. But she was just always kind of like, I knew she had a New York eye. She would always be like, your work is just so good for you to be, like I had never seen nothing like that from here. You know what I mean? Like it's from Detroit. So we worked with Miss Corona.
Shout out to Miss Corona.
Shout out to my sister Corona. And from there, me and Corona became sisters. But her sister was dating my cousin, so it was just like
it just ended up happening.
Yeah, but so Piper got me the job. She basically hit me like, Tony Braxton is coming to do a show here. It's like a one night only. It was like closing out the end of the season that year, like 2013.
Okay.
And she was like, so she has a team, but from her writer from Detroit, the Detroit end, she needs a stylist.
Oh, okay.
So she had a designer there, and she had hair, makeup, and all of the sisters were there, except for Tamar, because this is when Tamar was starting to like take off.
Right? So she's
but like the one that just passed, rest in peace to her, and the other two sisters were there.
Okay.
And then her husband from Mint Condition, he was there, and it was just, I mean, she wasn't a diva. But you knew she was Tony Braxton.
She's professional, yeah.
Very professional. They had everything was decked out for her. She stayed there the whole time, did her sound check. They were basically had her trailer in the back the whole time. I took the crew, the hair and makeup guy, the hair lady. She didn't go with us, but Kelvin Myers, which is a big renowned makeup artist in Atlanta, he went with us, and Rico Chappelle.
Okay.
Designer Rico Chappelle. He was her designer it was right after her tenure coming from doing Vegas.
Okay, yeah, because she had a nice stint in Vegas.
Yeah, she had a nice stint in Vegas. So it was just like, even with them, they were like, well, if you here, you must be really good. And then they were like, do you have a portfolio? And I was like, yeah, it's in the back seat.
Oh, you said, let me pull out my credentials.
So I took, showed them my portfolio, and they just was like, your work is really good, man. Like, why are you here? Because this was Detroit, hadn't got to where it is now on the come up, and everybody's talking about it. Was just still at that on the brink of, corruption and everything was going on, and it was just a good day. You know what I mean? It was a good experience. It was something to put my name on.
Mentally, emotionally, what did that moment feel like? I'm here. I'm doing this. Like
I don't never feel like nothing while I'm in it, because I be working,
right?
Or even after, I just kind of be like, what's next? Like
I like that,
because it was just like, what that did was that opened up my name to other doors, because of I did a lot within those 3 years before that happened, but that made me be like, oh shit,
it upped your resume, it upped your portfolio, and then the price can go up.
The price can go. Stock went up, baby, and then start making other people want to be like, oh yeah, he, this man, because it was just like, I think nobody had never really did. Like, you had like Char Girls Couture or Rocket Remix. She would make certain people stuff because she knew, the people that ran the building, but they didn't have nobody that came to bring actual clothes without the celebrity having to go to, to the mall or anything. So yeah, it was a good experience.
I want to know what the name, I want to say Misa
Misa Hilton.
Hilton, sorry.
So Misa is Puff Daddy's first son's mother.
Right.
And she is a fashion stylist, creative director. She now is the lead designer for a global designer for MCM.
And what is your relationship?
So, I mean, she is like a mentor to me, even though I didn't go to her school, but I'm a student of her.
Okay.
She's I always call her my wife. We laugh. but she's become I wouldn't say a friend, but I'm always respecting what she do, and she's still opening doors. And I can honestly say that my mentor or the person that I looked up to is
Misa.
Mm-hmm. She knows me, and we have a great relationship.
Now, on a side note, we found somewhere that you had an interest in being an A&R at one point.
Yeah, I love music just like I love fashion. So it was no different. Like, I always wanted to be kind of like the a la Puff Daddy kind of dude.
Yeah,
I like what you know.
I mean, we can't lie though. Puffy's always
Puffy's
been a crispy guy. You know,
he's like, regardless of how you may feel about him, whatever his business.
He's the man.
He's the man. So I mean, you know, coming up, I remember like I've always been a magazine reader, and he, you know, I would just see his name moving, shaking. Like, I remember, I'm telling my age, but I remember when like Jodeci and Mary and them hit the scene, and his name being the person behind them. I remember seeing Misa and him in the hot tub, like, and I'm knowing who they were.
Right.
So it was just like, I always like, real. Yeah, I want to do that. You know what I mean? I would love to A&R somebody's album and tell them what to sing through and what to rap through and what beats to pick, because I have everybody kind of respect my eye for ear for music too. So, and
it's like fashion and music, they go hand in hand. It's just the forms of expression are just different. One is verbal and one is visual. Yeah, but it's definitely, I'm
like one of the people that wish I could sing, but I
that's
can't.
Me. I mean, you can not. Wait. Let's put it like this: everybody can sing. It's just about how you sound.
Yeah. Now I don't sound bad. And I can, if I was a writer, I would be like the Dream, one of them kind of like writer, background singer kind of dudes. Yeah, the Dream definitely
is a catchy dude.
Yeah, so one of them kind of people. Like, I would always love to do that, because I'm a creative, so I can write hooks. And I tell a lot of rappers and people like what to rhyme through or what they should say next, because I just always been a fan of hip hop.
So you're the guy, if we have a studio session and you're in here, you the person that's going to add that hot line. Like, hey, why don't you say this?
Yeah, or tell them like you rapping off beat, or like your concept should be this. And just one of them kind of like hidden gems that's be sitting there quiet or talking to somebody else, and then they'll be like, well, what you think about that? And I'd be like, yeah, well, maybe you should have ended it like this, or, you know, whatever. Like, just creative. Okay. Just always trying to make things better.
So I want to switch the energy up.
For sure.
And you did tell me about some wonderful memories you had at your grandmother's house.
Yeah.
So now I want to switch it up. Tell me about your favorite overall Detroit memory.
Well, that's hard.
I mean, we got a lot of different things, especially back in, 20 years ago. We had great things going on that aren't now, so.
Just, I remember, like, say if it was today and this was 20 years ago, like, I just remember, like, riding up and down from, like, Gratiot to 7 Mile and Southfield Freeway, up and down the street all night, all day, and then later that night or in the day going to Belle Isle doing the same thing, you just doing laps. You know, you up and down Jefferson, like, it's a meme that's showing like a lap at Jefferson. Somebody snapped a picture. It's on the Black Magazine site. But I don't know, I just like, it's not as many places I've been. I just love Detroit. I think at one point, like after the Tony Braxton thing, I was ready to go. In my mind, I felt like I was ready to go.
Yeah. And actually, I think I seen somewhere that was like maybe around 2013.
Yeah, 2013, I was ready to go, and I was just like, I want to get out of here. This not, it ain't moving fast enough. And Piper was literally the one that told me, like, Mark, I'm telling you, don't leave. If you leave, you're going to get caught up in the rapture. New York is busy. You're going to be working 2 or 3 jobs trying to pay your rent. You might not even fall in love with styling anymore. It's not a guarantee. But she wasn't.
She gave you some.
She wasn't shooting my dreams down. She just was giving
you some wise direction. Yeah.
So, and I'm glad I didn't, because my me not leaving, it honed in on what I was already doing and made what you see and why I'm here.
And I have a great story about Piper personally, because I have been following her for a while online too. Mm-hmm. And I used to host, because I used to do poetry.
Right.
And I hosted an open mic series at a club. At the time, it was May Soundstage. Shout out to May Soundstage, even though it isn't around anymore. That was actually, at that time, the old Ambiance.
Okay.
Turned into May Soundstage. I forgot the young lady's name that ran it. Please forgive me, darling. But it was a beautiful plexiglass stage with the lights, and the bar was just really, really nice. And Piper surprised me showing up to my show with individuals from other countries. That was fire. And, you know, they loved the set. They loved the poetry that I performed. And I was able to make some awesome connections and exchange emails with some individuals in other countries. So shout out to Piper Carter for just being the plug and just making connections. Piper is the plug. One of these days, sister, I'm going to get you on. Yeah. And, yeah, so that was my little backstory, my positive interaction with Piper. She's just a wonderful person, indeed. Yeah. And it's like, when you touch on that memory in the city, I could just remember even just being a kid, even though it was crazy stuff going on when I was little still, it's still not like it is now where I like fear for my kids. I can remember not having a cell phone, literally leaving out 7, 8 in the morning in the summer, riding my bike and being with my friends all day long and not coming home till it got dark. And my parents didn't ask a question. Yeah. They didn't worry about anything.
Yeah, I think maybe social media has made it worse for the people in our generation that has kids, because a lot of people that's my age, the early 40s on down, that may have, early 40s to maybe like 35, they may have an early, teenager or even little kids. They just kind of fear for their kids. Like, they don't let their kids catch the bus. They don't, these, and I feel like I understand it, but it's kind of like a hindrance for them because they don't know the real world like we did. We didn't have, we didn't have the luxury to, everybody parent in my neighborhood on the North End didn't have a car. You know what I mean? We didn't have a luxury to get in the car and go to the mall, or get in the car and get dropped off somewhere. Like, you want to go to skating, you
better
get on that Woolworth 8 Mile. You know what I mean? Or Woolworth Alta Road. You got to catch it. Y'all want to go and come back. You know what I mean? You want to go to the festival? All right, even if it was adults going, we all catch on the bus at this time, meet us at the house at this time, and we going to go. So it's a good thing. It was more community back then, but it was still the 80s. It was wild. It was shooting. So I always try to be like that too. Like, Detroit has always been like a little, like all the soul and shifty too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know what? And I like the way you put that. It's definitely, it's two different essence. You got some soul and you got some shifty.
Because you have to think majority of our family is from the South. So that's where the Southern hospitality still comes in, where you get a lot of people that either speak a little country. You're like, you've never been to the South in your life. Well, your grandparents are from there. So you're picking up that from them, yeah. And then, here in the city, you could have been a great child, but you just got caught up in whatever it is that you got caught up in. Some people did, some people didn't. So,
and too, what I think a big part of it is, a lot of times, some people I actually don't think are genuinely bad people.
No, they're not bad.
I think
it's
some
just bad
people,
choices.
And then too, and I do think some people like that might do some shady things too. I think some people get caught up into like a survival mode.
But it's all about survival.
Yeah, and they just
Detroit is all about survival. Yeah. You know what I mean? No matter, like you said in the beginning in the interview, no matter what we do, no matter the creed we come from, it's all about making it. You know what I mean? It's about okay, I'm gonna have a clothing store, but I'm gonna work a 9 to 5, and then when I get off from the 9 to 5, from 5 to 10, I'm gonna get this clothing store, and then when I get home, if the kids is woke, I cook some food, or they eat what we had the night before. Or now you can Uber food to somebody or whatever. It's a little easier now, but
it is.
But there's always going to be the hustle there, and that's the thing here. Detroit, to me, Detroit is fast, if not faster than even like a Harlem or New York, because you can't pull no wool over our eyes.
Absolutely not.
You can't pull no wool over our eyes.
Absolutely not. So, energy shift.
Okay.
Genius denim.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
I think it is super dope.
Okay.
I love the work that you do. Like, I mean, the hats, the jeans, it's fire. Like fire.
Just another, I never wanted
extension.
Another extension of what I do. So quick story about that. My god sister, which is Chrissy, which is Mia's best friend. That's how I know Mia. We were going out a lot. So when T Woods was having his parties, we were going out.
Okay.
And then back then, individuality was still a thing. So you never wanted to look like the next girl or guy. So one day she called me like, bro, we going to T Woods' party. I got this shirt. but it need to be cut up. So I cut off her shoulder, and she was like, "What should I wear?" And so that's when the color bangles was in. Put this color, like these big. So we did that one week, and then the following week, she was like, "I got these jeans. Could you rip them up for me and do them for me?" And I was like, "Yeah, just bring them to me." And I did them, and then she wore them out, and like 5 girls that she knew from middle school asked her, where you get them pants from? She was like, "These some little Forever 21 jeans." They like, "No, somebody, what did you do to them?" And she was like, "Oh, my god brother, he ripped them up." And that was kind of like the birth of jeans denim in like '07. I was doing them a little bit then because I always had my own pants, always had like a rip in the knee, or always just like something a little, because I'm a fan of, I'm a 90s kid, so I'm a fan of
the
like
distress,
damage, salt and pepper,
yeah.
that I like that. And I hated when it kind of like went away. So instead of the acid wash, I just would do the bleach jobs. So yeah, that's jeans denim. It just started like back then from just going out, want to have pants on that was different. And then at that time, like all of like the Pepe and academics, all that stuff.
And I was a big fan of those when those brands were out.
Yeah, so I was just trying to find my own way to do it. Just didn't know how to get my own brand. So I just started doing, everybody would go buy cheap little denim or Levi's and bring them to me, and I would freak them out.
So what I want to know, let's have a little bit of fun.
Okay.
What would you say, out of all the different styles that's popping right now, what would you say in your eyes is a fashion no-no?
I think, I don't want to, I still think that women not wearing foundation under their clothing is a thing for me.
I like that.
Like no matter how skinny you are, or even if you're a thicker girl. And then I'm not a fan of all of the, like, even if you are a thicker girl, a curvy woman, just like having your belly out. To me, that's still a no-no. Like, the bigger women, when I were coming up, dressed well, and they were covered. And not saying that it, I get all the Lizzo and all of that kind of, like, I get it.
No, it's just an opinion of fashion. It's not body shaming. It's just an opinion of the actual
it's not a body shaming thing.
Fashion.
I just think that that kind of stuff to me is like a no-no.
Okay.
And then just like being not body conscious of like when you're a bigger guy like me, or you're a tall guy, like I think men getting mixed up with thinking like, well, if I got a belly, I'm gonna get a bigger shirt. And it's like, no, now you look sloppy. You know what I mean? Like, we know you got a belly, so you might as well get what fits you, and just
just well fitted,
just well fitting
clothes.
So I think to me that's my thing. Like I don't really have too much to say about the different trends.
I think that's a great idea. Yeah, I think that's a great.
The trends, I get it. A lot of stuff comes back or
changes up.
So it's kind of hard to be like, it's personally, I'd be like, I don't really care for that, or that looks
Your
cheap.
thing is about made well, fit well.
Made well, fit well.
I like that.
And even if it's something that's cheap, still dress it up.
Yeah, and you can. I believe that. I truly believe that. Now, I seen something that was pretty awesome not too long ago. You made an announcement about a gig you acquired with a popular television show. Do you want to talk about that? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So, I made an announcement, 3 weeks ago, that they hired me to be a shopper stylist for BMF season 2. They have a costume designer. Shout out to Kia Bounds. She's doing an amazing job. So we were following each other on Instagram because of Misa.
Okay.
I followed her. I said some nice things like, I remember guys dressing like that. You have Detroit looking well. Keep up the good work. So she followed me.
Nice.
And I never inboxed her, DM'd her, or said anything, but I knew they had to come here to shoot. So I wanted to be a part of it. Didn't know how I was going to become a part of it. My friend named Kenyatta, which is a dope designer herself, she drives Lyft when she gets done sewing.
Yeah, everybody got to hustle.
Everybody got to hustle.
Period. Shift the Lyft on.
Yeah, so she drives, because the Lyft people are in her building where she has her office, so it makes sense for her to have, I got a brand new car, I could drive Lyft, because she know the people. So she was driving, picked up 3 of the producers. One of them name is Ann. I can't think of the other young lady, 2 other ladies' names.
Okay.
So they were talking, and the ladies told them, well, we're here to do scouting and pick up shots and all of that for, BMF. And she said, oh, really? I have a friend. He's really, really, really dope costume designer. He did a couple of movies. you all need to, link out. Oh, okay, well, tell them to contact us. And gave their email. The next day, she zeroed me in on the email, and then I waited a day because I didn't want to seem like...
I feel you.
So I waited a day, and then I responded back, hey, thanks for, giving your email. Hopefully we can work something, sent my press kit, sent resume. And then a week or so maybe went by, and then Kia contacted me.
Nice.
And said that they wanted to figure out a way to get me into the mix. And they just threw me into the mix of basically the stuff that they couldn't leave set to do, and they don't know Detroit like that, just had me doing. And, gave me a BMF Stars card with a limited budget, and was like, go get us 50 Piston t-shirts. Oh, okay. Pick out which ones you want, send some pictures, do what you want to do.
No nice, problem. That's dope.
Yeah, and they did a scene. It's a Fox scene, I think it's supposed to be like, I don't know if they're putting it together, but it's a hair show scene, and then they doing something.
And they're doing a hair show. That's super dope.
Yeah, so Christina the Glam Tech, shout out to Christina Glam Tech. She got pulled in to do the hair for that.
Nice, shout out Christina Glam Tech.
So yeah, they kind of pulled in a lot of Detroit people this time, which is great.
That's
how that job went. Yeah, it was cool.
Do you have anything going on that you like to tell us outside of that, or anything you'd like to tell the people of Detroit checking us out right now?
Just keep on striving, man. We are a resilient people. Whatever it is that you want to do, if you want to get into fashion or own a boutique, just speak to somebody that knows exactly what it is that you're trying to do. Like, you don't have to go around asking a million people. Just go straight to the source and get money, man.
Yeah, get money all day, every day, each one, teach one. So, lastly, before we wrap everything up, can you tell the people how to find you? Tell them about Genius Denim, what we got going on.
So, Genius Denim is just JEANOUS Denim, DENIM on Instagram. No two pair are alike. I sell hats, bucket caps, men and women jeans, custom. Some people like to wash. Some people want their rips, just the rips and slits or distressing. So that's Genius Denim. That's my brand. On the Marv Neal side, I have a movie coming out with Qasim, director that's from Detroit, with Uncle Jerome. I never think his name, and that's so unprofessional of me. But Uncle Jerome from what is the name of the show? It just went off. Snowfall.
Oh, okay.
Uncle Jerome from Snowfall is the lead. He's playing Qasim. And so it's like an autobiography kind of like film. Nice. And then Omari Hardwick, Ghost, is in it as well.
That's sweet.
So I got to dress them two guys. And so that'll be coming out soon, hopefully, and hit all the like Cannes Film Festival and all of those places. Because he always gets those kind of like people. And that's pretty much it. Any styling work. I did help with Mia's just latest the rolling bag brand.
Yeah,
I
man, that's super
helped her
dope.
with that. So yeah, whatever anybody contact me for, and then of course the lip bar stuff I did with them.
Super dope.
So yeah, I mean that's how you contact me. Website is www.marvneal.com, or you can email me through my website, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
So y'all know what it is. He's letting you know off top. He is the plug. Get with this man for your Genius Denim and your looks, okay? Yeah. And then definitely be on the lookout for all of his work that he's mentioned and for that BMF too. That's going to be fire, by the way. So I can't wait. I'm going to be looking at stuff like, ooh, Marv did that. What's up?
Right. Dope interview. I appreciate you for having me.
I thank you. I thank you for coming. And something we always like to do here, we want to give you your Detroit flowers.
Thank you.
Because we're all about honoring our tastemakers while they're here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem. So everybody, it's been a dope time sitting down, chopping it up with Marv Neal. Y'all already know what it is. It's me, your girl Dahlia, and you've been rocking with the pod, aka the people of Detroit. Take care of yourselves.
What up, doe? Y'all
dope.
already know what it is. It's your boy, Sir LA.
And it's me, your girl, Dahlia.
And y'all in here rocking with the pod, a.k.a. the people of Detroit. And today, we just wanted to drop some jewels on y'all, about our ventures and what's going on. As y'all know, the podcast, The People of Detroit, is sponsored by Shywear LLC and also Natural Nation LLC. But as far as Shywear, that's on hold for right now, but it is coming very soon. Shout out my daughter LaShyla, dedicated to her. But today we talking about Natural Nation. And as far as Natural Nation, we got a lot to offer. We got a whole location. We got a lot of natural hygiene products. And it's very good for the skin, very good for the body. And right here next to me, we got the CEO herself, Miss Dahlia. And I'm going to let her go into detail and tell y'all about the business.
Nothing brings me greater joy than to deliver those smell good goodies that you love. We have a variety of soaps, body butters, scrubs. We even make beard balms for men. He be twinkling and glistening.
You know it.
And we have relaxing bath teas. Now, you can come see us 7 days a week at 12 Oaks Mall in Novi. We're located right near the Cheesecake Factory, so you can get that good grub and get some self-care at the same time.
Yes.
Outside of that, we're still processing online orders. Just make sure you hit the website at www.therealnaturalnation.com. And you can follow us on IG or Facebook. We love to see those reviews because y'all opinions on the products is what keep us going and delivering quality.
Yes. And of course, we hope to see as many of y'all as soon as possible. Like Dahlia said, we located at 12 Oaks, right by the Cheesecake Factory on the first floor. Come take a peek at what we got, because I'm quite sure you'll be intrigued and you'll be leaving with something. Because, as far as this been going, this like 5th year strong, and I feel we bigger than ever and we still got a lot more stuff to do. But at the end of it, we gonna get to the bag and we gonna be a boss in our own state, and do what we gotta do.
Okay.
But with that being said, shout out everybody who has been associated with the People of Detroit podcast. All of our guests from this point that has been on there, that has been on here, from Chef Tony, KDZ, we had Tamashi on, Marcel Stewart, shout out Tommy B, my brother, rest in peace, bro. I'm always hold you down. And, go check out our videos. We got a lot of different videos dealing with a lot of different sectors of Detroit, and it's helpful to y'all. So it might be people out there that need motivation. Come take a look at our videos, and I promise you will get that motivation, because the people we speak with, they're only a phone call away. Some of them a DM away. And if you need any assistance with anything from a life coach, getting your business in line, just anything of that nature, watch our episodes, see who we have on, because it's all people that's of importance of Detroit that helps that community. So again, in the meantime and between time, y'all already know what it is. Sir LA.
It's me, your girl, Dahlia.
And thank y'all for rocking with the pod this long. We've been holding it down. It's our 4th month strong. But we appreciate it. You already know what it is. The People of Detroit.